And Monday Night Football, we've got a good one here. Falcons at Saints, Tad?
Yeah, Saints win the game, they clinch the division. I mean, I think that's exactly what's going to happen just because they're at home. Atlanta, they've been offensively just a powerhouse the last couple weeks. Matt Ryan throwing a ton of touchdowns as opposed to what you usually think in that Atlanta running game. But he's got those two healthy receivers, and they're both having huge games. Roddy White has come on like a banshee in these last couple games. He's been absolutely everywhere. They'll probably lose this game, Atlanta, and they'll keep other teams in the playoff hunt because I think Detroit's losing as well. But Atlanta closes with Tampa Bay. That's when they'll secure their playoff spot. This game is going to be a lot of fun to watch, but it's a loss for the Falcons and a win for the Saints. Oh, by the way, Drew Brees will probably get the record in this game as well.
Yes.
He's only about 305 yards away from Marino's record. I think he gets it in this game.
I agree with all those things. I think New Orleans is going to win this game. They've been the best home team in football. They're 6-0, but they've scored under 30 points just once in those 6 games, and that was beating Tampa Bay 27-16. But they're not just beating people at home. They are crushing people. They're outscoring their opponents by an average of 3 touchdowns per game, which is ridiculous. I mean, even if you take out the 59-7 win against Indianapolis on Sunday Night Football, they're still outscoring their opponents by 2 touchdowns a game at home, which is still just absolutely dominant. It's going to be a shootout this week on Monday night, but I just don't think Atlanta's going to match up with New Orleans offense on the road, stopping that receiving core, because Atlanta has been an average team on the road. They lost at Tampa Bay. They lost at Chicago earlier this year. And yes, those teams were different back then earlier in the season, but I just don't think they're going to be able to match up well with these New Orleans receivers. And of course, New Orleans, great running game. Their depth at running back. They got to pick one of those things to take out of the game. I just don't see them doing it very well.
Yeah, I'm going to take New Orleans here too. Do you guys think that Drew Brees should get more than MVP consideration? Do you think it should be like a deep, like it could be Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers, or do you think it's still pretty much a lock for MVP?
I still think Aaron Rodgers, unless we have 2 more games like the game we just saw against Kansas City. I think Aaron Rodgers is your MVP. Sure, yeah, you consider Drew Brees. You definitely consider it, and it's not a lock, but I strongly am leaning towards Aaron Rodgers.
I think that you can make an argument that Drew Brees had the best game at quarterback of anybody this entire season last week. It's tough. I know that Rodgers had a really good one too in the middle of the season, right? A-Roz, where he even rushed for one, so maybe that tips the scales. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you said, yeah, Drew Brees has had that probably the best game any quarterback has had. Aaron Rodgers, we could argue, has had the best season any quarterback's had. If you take out that Kansas City game, I mean, he has been playing out of his mind. His QB rating was 120, which was unheard of. Even with that great year Peyton Manning had with the 49 touchdowns, and then you've had that 07 year by Brady when he was over 50. Aaron Rodgers surpassed those guys this year with the numbers he was putting up and just the way he was spreading it out to all of his receivers, making those guys even better. As good as those guys are, he made all those guys better. Drew Brees has been phenomenal. He will be getting a lot of votes in this MVP discussion. But I think Aaron Rodgers is your guy. It's not a lock. Drew Brees has 2 games to go to further pad his argument. But in complete body of work, I like what Green Bay's done. I think Aaron Rodgers wins this award.
All right, give me a dark horse candidate, Ross.
You're going to like this, Ted. Shady McCoy would be my number 3.
That's exactly what I was going to say, especially if the Eagles make the playoffs and he scores 4 more touchdowns, a 24-touchdown season, leads the league in rushing, gets his team to the playoffs. If that scenario works out, he's a dark horse.
Absolutely. I mean, heck, if you didn't have the seasons Rodgers and Brees would have, I would say he'd be your front runner because take out the fact that Andy Reid is a 60-40 pass-to-run guy, the way he game plans his offenses. Shady McCoy has had like a Marshall Faulk type of season the way he has been as a receiver and a runner this year. He has had an all-pro caliber season at running back, and he deserves to have the respect given by his peers in the NFL.
More than Brady?
Get votes. He'll probably finish third.
More than Brady? You think he's going to come in third and Brady's going to come in fourth?
If the Eagles don't make the playoffs, then, yeah, he's out of the running, though. If the Eagles don't make the playoffs, then, of course, Brady. If the Eagles make the playoffs and they do it on the back of Shady McCoy, what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. If he runs for 175 yards in the next 2 games and they make the playoffs, then I might start buying it. Yeah,
in the league in rushing, making the playoffs. He already has 20 touchdowns. You figure you can get a couple more in the next couple games?
Yeah, I think he probably will because the Eagles can't do anything without Shady McCoy. I mean, they I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take the Saints in this game. Last time I'll mention fantasy is that I'm going to probably be behind going into this Monday night game, and if Matt Ryan doesn't cut up this New Orleans offense, then I could just beat this New Orleans defense, then I'll just be dead. So let's go Julio Jones.